So recently I read this book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and it's talking about how technology, while it's improving in so many different ways and it's adding so much to our life, it's also a massive problem and it's actually taking away from our lives in a lot of really interesting ways. For a lot of us, we are getting more and more distracted and more reliant on technology. Right now, I'm at my digital agency where we actually help businesses with social media. So not only can I be addicted to my own social media, I can be looking at my clients, I can be looking at our business conversations, I can be reading social media news and technology updates. My brain is always wired to be looking for those notifications, checking the news feed, and constantly going back to my phone and back to my computer. And I'm finding that the more I get these addictions and these habits, then the less I actually have free time to just be bored and leveraging that boredom to actually being creative. So this month, my challenge was to try digital minimalism. And so I broke down my challenge into 3 different components. For the first 10 days, I'm gonna be completely digitally free. That means no YouTube, no gaming, no social media on my phone, all of that stuff, it's gonna be removed. And I wanna see how that influences my life. Then for the next 10 days, I'm going to introduce it back to my life, but I'm only going to allow it for 15 minutes a day. And then for the last 10 days, I'm going to be digitally minimal until 6 p.m. and then I'll be allowed to use my technology afterwards. And so I'm breaking it down into 3 different components to see what is actually sustainable, which one do I like the most, what is the kind of system that works best for me. So for the first 10 days, it was all about completely letting go. And it was really challenging. So it is day 1 of my digital minimalism challenge. And I've come to you, a friend and an expert in dealing with distractions. Because I know that you're someone that has ADD, is that fair to say?
I think so, it's been diagnosed, yeah.
Myself and probably a ton of people find it really hard to not go onto a lot of our digital addictions. And so you are a master at knowing some of the tools and tricks to force yourself to stop.
It's not forcing myself to stop, it's actually not giving myself an option to access it.
Yeah. On my phone, I used an app called Screen Time, and I got my roommate to set a passcode, and so only him with the passcode could actually allow me to get into the apps that I blocked. And there was nothing that I could do to get by that. It was really important for me because so many times I would forget and I'd just jump onto Instagram, just go through that habit and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's blocked. So it really was important to set myself up for success. So my apps right now, when you click onto an app like Instagram, this is what happens. You click onto it, you reach the time limit on Instagram. If I ask for more time, it says enter a passcode. And so now I don't know this passcode, only my roommate knows this passcode. So in some sort of desperate emergency, I can call them up begging them to get my access to social media. But other than that, I can't get any access. Just finish blocking everything on my phone and I go to my computer to do a little bit of work, and habitually what do? I go onto YouTube. I just kind of instinctually click onto YouTube. So I'm going to very quickly download this Cold Turkey Product Blocker Pro. For my computer, I use something called Cold Turkey, and you can actually block different websites from your computer. And once you've put it in your computer, there's nothing you can do. You need to wait the time. I accidentally blocked a few sites that I didn't want to block because I was too excited to set it up. This is what happens right now when I go to Facebook or YouTube. So if let's go to YouTube, blocked by Cold Turkey. If I go to Facebook as well, there you go. It's all blocked. I wanted to have the ability to go on YouTube to post videos. I did want to give myself some time so I can post videos and engage with comments. This computer's kind of bricked out for the next 9 days, which is good. It's going to force me to be more productive. And that's what this is all about, you know. This is about embracing boredom. It's about getting more things done, doing the things that you actually want to do. We can get stuck in these distractions where, you know, we have a few free hours in the day and we end up just being distracted in those few hours instead of doing the things that are growing us individually, moving us forward, keeping our life balanced. And so, you know, that's what this is all about. In the first 10 days, there was a lot of like mini little problems that I had. For one, like I would pick up my phone and try to go into the app and realize it was blocked. Another thing was I needed to join a Facebook group for this community that I was part of, and I couldn't join because I didn't have Facebook. And so I had to try to think of creative ways around it. And it was difficult, honestly, because so many times Facebook is ingrained in something that you really need to do. a conversation, a community, something where you do need to be a part of because they don't operate in any other platform. I also miss birthdays. Facebook's my #1 way to actually make sure I know which friends' birthdays are coming up.
So last night I went to bed really early. Like usually it'd get to like 9 p.m. I'd seen a friend, gone out for dinner, come home, and then I'll just sit on my phone and kind of scroll through my phone, maybe play some games, watch some YouTube. Instead, I listened to a podcast and went to sleep by like 9:45, which is really early for me typically, but I did get a really good sleep. And I think my body really needed it, but it's the type of thing that I wouldn't have really allowed myself to feel because I constantly was distracting myself. One thing that is happening though is I woke up, what do I do? Like first thing, jump on Facebook, oh yeah, it's blocked. So it's going to keep happening, but these are these instinctual things that are built into me that I'm going to have to break. And that's why these apps and these blocking apps are so important for me personally. When you build a habit, you need something to constantly remind you to break it. And focusing on self-discipline isn't enough.
I still had that addiction and those habitual habits where I would constantly just take out my phone and check it. I had to slowly find different ways to replace that time. It's hard to have extra time when you don't actually have something that you wanted to do with it. And part of the value of the extra time is to be creative, to think about how you want to spend that time. Initially, it can be overwhelming to just have, a few hours of time unassigned where you can't watch TV and you can't do anything to distract yourself. And you've already tried to do all your productive things for the day and you're feeling a little bit tired. You don't really know what you want to do with that time. So I started to try to be more social. I tried to do more activities like, walking outside. I tried to do like more errands around the house. I tried to do more creative projects like playing music and learning new songs and things like that. So I really tried to fill up that time with productive things. And it took me a little bit of a while to get into the flow of things, but as the days went on, I started to find myself happier and happier with that free time and knowing more and more what I wanted to do with that time.
So, it has been 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. So today I'm going to be unlocking my phone so I can check Facebook for my first time and Instagram for my first time. But I'm transferring today from 0 of those things, full digital minimalism, to 20 minutes a day. It's been good. I've learned through these 10 days. If I didn't have it password protected, I would have broke it. Even though it's for a challenge and everything like that, it made it so much easier because instinctually you just click your phone. Like it's very important.
So you found yourself on the lock screen. You found yourself clicking on Facebook and then seeing the lock screen.
Cool.
Right, so you're doing it? You're checking notifications then?
I am. I'm going to check my Facebook notifications first time in 10 days. How many notifications do you reckon I've got?
I reckon easily over 50, probably
50. I mean, this is another thing with Facebook as well, where you kind of get like a gratification from like posting and seeing that red thing. I don't want to be like disappointed if it's 5, you know what I mean? Because who cares? But you kind of put some of your self-worth based on likes and comments and things. Sort of. This is 9+.
Alright.
Oh, let's look at it.
No, it's a lot more than that.
A lot of just birthdays. A lot of nothings as well.
Yeah. So it makes you think like, oh, if this is the kind of thing that I get notified on, like that is actually something that disrupts your day, disrupts your focus.
Totally. I definitely feel like, my emotional health and my happiness and stability when I don't have access to social media for the last 10 days is just way more consistent.
Yeah.
Way more consistent.
Yeah, good.
So the next 10 days was the 15 minutes a day. And weirdly enough, the 15 minutes a day was the hardest thing that I did all month.
So it is day 15-ish of the challenge. In the morning, I might watch a YouTube video, check my Instagram or something like that. And then my desire for it is just being built a little bit. And so now when I have like a moment when I'm kind of tired and I want to chill out, I just feel like annoyed that I haven't been able to continue with it. So potentially like for me, doing 0 is easier than doing moderation.
With the 15 minutes a day, you get this little hit of serotonin of like, cool, I've got these messages, I've got these notifications, and then boom, cut, you're done. And so like I've been mid-responding to someone on Facebook or Instagram, and then I get cut off. It felt worse because it kind of gave me the anxiety of like feeling like I was missing out on different areas. And I'd also always use the 15 minutes like first thing in the morning. Even if I tried to save it up for later in the day, it just seemed like I'd always be out by like midday. Finally, my last challenge was to do 10 days where I have all my digital distractions gone until 6 p.m. And I actually like this because knowing that I couldn't use it in the morning, knowing I couldn't check my phone first thing in the morning, meant that I started meditating and I started stretching and I started doing the things that I like to do in my morning routine. And then throughout the day, I'd try to plan my day knowing that after 6, I can be a little bit more distracted and I can check things out. So I actually found this system to be a little bit more productive for me personally and something that I could actually manage. So overall, I think with a lot of technology, there is just the first way that you use it, and often that isn't the best way. You know, with social media, it's addictive. You can get obsessed with it. With Instagram, you know, with following all your creators on YouTube, it can be addictive. And that first instinctual way that we use it is not the best way. And so then the second way that sometimes people are looking at it is just removing it from your life. And I think that a lot of this is just ingrained into our life right now. And it doesn't make sense to remove YouTube, and it doesn't make sense to remove Facebook from your life, because I think like you'll miss important events, you'll miss birthdays, you'll miss photos, you'll miss group conversations that are actually really important. And so I think the balanced way and the way that I want to move forward is trying to figure out how you can leverage this technology to work for you, remove the components that don't work for you. So for example, on my Facebook feed now, I've unfollowed just about all my friends because I don't really want to get distracted by seeing all of their updates. So my newsfeed, it's been blocked on my computer, and I'm using something called Newsfeed Eradicator, so I can't actually see my newsfeed. And then on my phone, my newsfeed is actually news. And it's news that I genuinely care about and that's valuable to my life. It's also a little bit more boring now because checking real news isn't always as exciting as seeing friends and their holiday photos and stuff like that. So that makes it a little bit less distracting for me. Other things that you can do is use apps like Screen Time or Rescue Time to actually look at how you're spending your time on your phone and on your computer. You might find that you're spending a lot more time on Facebook or gaming or YouTube than you actually realize. Just even looking at that number every week and being aware of that might help you get that down to an hour or half an hour, so you can be a little bit more mindful with how you're spending that time. And then another thing that I think is really important with all of this is just taking some time away. Even if you're not going to do 10 days or 30 days, digitally minimal, why not try to take like 2 hours of distracted free time where you just walk in the park, you hang out somewhere out in nature or by a window or in a cafe, and you're not on your phone and you're not on your computer, and you're giving yourself time to just be creative and reflect on your life. In that creative time, although it can be painful initially, it can also stem to really valuable ideas, because once you actually have exciting things to replace your time with, then the idea of being creative and jumping into new projects will actually start to seem more exciting than the digital distractions that you're currently putting into your life. So I really think an important component of this is taking some time out, embrace the boredom, and just think about life and things that you want to be doing, and take ideas from that so that you can have things that you're excited about that will be more exciting than the distractions that you are placing in your life.